that there's actually something more going on than just me, myself, and I putting a stake in the ground and saying, this is what's going to happen for me, and from this I won't be moved. Something's more is going on. And the other thing that can happen is when we spend long periods of time in that stage, we spend a lot of time in that stage, many of us discover that we become exhausted. We become exhausted with, being that intentional all the time and feeling the weight of that responsibility. And that's the doorway now into this next stage of development. We move from the constant need to create specific form. We move from that to a place where we learn how to trust the process. Now we're going to talk about the fact that we don't necessarily get rid of the specifics, but we move into a place where we trust the process. Now, I want to tell you a little story about Reverend Karen. You've heard this story before. I know she's shared it with you, and it's her story about coming into ministry. And she was considering either candidating for a community in California, or starting a community in the Bay Area. And she was kind of vacillating between these two things. I was working with her, mentoring about the idea of this new community, what that might look like, what she might do, those kinds of things. And a big breakthrough happened for her. And a particular mentor said to her in her life, if you let go of form, what is it that you want from your ministry? And without thinking about it, she said, I want to work full time and thrive while doing it. Do you see how different that is than I want that community, I want that job, I want that person, I want that specific? She got a hold of an end result that was about her life and her lifestyle and her life experience and the quality of the experience. And she actually didn't know what it looked like, but she knew what it felt like. That was the beginning of a really powerful move into this stage 3. So we're going to take a look at this little map that we use all the time, that we've created here, of these stages of development. And you'll notice at the bottom where we started 2 weeks ago, to me, the bottom, I don't know whether it's your left or right, the red one, to me, right? We're basically unconscious and on autopilot, and we feel like a victim, and nothing ever works out, and we have all of our stories, blah, 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 blah. Right? And then stage 2 is, we begin to get a clue. We go through therapy, or we go through some, life experience, or we read a book, or we have some workshop that we go to that begins to awaken us to the fact that, no, we actually contribute to this, and we can make a difference. That's that whole buy me stage. Now you'll notice that stage 3 is down again at the bottom, and that the portal is a downward slide. But this third stage is the through me stage, right? And this is where, with all the songs that we've sung so far, right, this is where we recognize that there is something larger going on. There's an urge of life that is pushing through us. There is something within us that is urging us in some direction, going some way into our own lives. And that we begin to recognize that that's beyond any specific thing we might think that we want to manifest. And it's also a recognition that as we read our spiritual inspiration, then we're not the ones who actually make anything happen anyway. Like, what? Doesn't my attitude count? Doesn't my thinking about it count? Doesn't my affirmations count? Well, yeah, they do. But they all count because they're all using universal laws and principles. We're engaged in a universal creative process. It's actually the principle that creates. It's actually the universal laws that have the power. We don't actually make the airplane fly, right? It is the use of the laws properly, the shaping of the wings, the thrust of the speed that actually lifts the airplane out of the air. Do you see? We're using the laws. We're not making the plane fly. It's actually the way the laws work that causes the plane to fly.